once we've learned something, we don't tell anybody else about what we learned in the classroom. Like this is perfect, Najwa. You took a bunch of pictures, right?
Yeah.
You need to communicate what the kids are learning to parents. So parents can follow up that conversation.
So that's when you send.
Well, look, I'll show you now. Okay, so now we're finally ready for our sample. All right, turn over to our sample. So now I hope it's a really good sample for you. Okay. I did one on snow. It's the very first one, okay? And it's based on child's interest, and this is what happens. Okay, somebody read that first. Questions to explore, investigate.
During outdoor play in the winter, the children are
fascinated.
Right, fascinated by the first snowfall of the season. The teacher hears the children talk about snow. A child says, "The snow is flakes falling out of God's beard." Oh my God. When they come in from playing, they are still talking about the snow and very interested in the origins of snow. When asked where the snow comes from, they mention the sky.
I should say the sky. Sorry.
The sky. But no one has a clear idea of how and why it snows.
Okay. Very nice. Okay. So here's some of the background research we could do. It's snow. The teachers may be doing this. Snow is a theme. Snowy days. She reads it circle. Printed pictures of real snowflakes. Have you guys seen real snowflakes?
Have we eaten real snowflakes?
Have you seen them?
Yeah, if you really, they are cute. They're thick. Like yesterday, you actually see a real snowflake.
I'm going to show you guys real fast. No. These are the scientific pictures that cameras have taken of snow. Oh, you know what? Let me just hook this up so you can see it. They are the most amazing miracle you've ever seen. Like real snowflakes. They're the most amazing geometric shapes. They're beautiful. So I'll show you that in just a little bit. So I'm thinking you could have those out at your writing center. The kids could be tracing those. They could be copying them, trying to draw their own real snowflakes. Snow in the water table would be cool with squirt bottles filled with colors.
I've used those with the crayons too, like the dried up markers. And they dab in the snow.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So, I mean, here's all, what is this looking like? It's kind of looking like level 1, our typical preschool classroom where they're exploring the theme of snow, right?
Right.
Snowflake cutouts at the Art and Writing Center. Maybe that we show them how to make snowflakes, right? So they can make their own snowflakes. So typical level 1, right? But here's where we really start adding the depth. Step number 3 is construct a hypothesis. Have the children guess the answer to their own question. So the question is, where does snow come from? All right, so here's what the teacher does. Provide a large piece of poster board with the question, where does snow come from? Here you are. Here's your poster board. I love poster board because you can pop your question on it, you can tape it up somewhere else, you can come back and revisit it, but it's a nice record of what you're doing, all right? Record the children's answers. So I'm asking, where does snow come from? So the kids are maybe throwing their answers out, and I'm writing their answers down as we go. If there are several children answering the same thing, record their answers as a group. Sometimes this happens with like favorite foods. Everybody loves strawberries. Everybody loves fruit. Everybody loves vegetables, whatever. So great charting opportunity there, okay? For example, several of the children guess the snow comes from God, while several others think it comes from the sky, and one child guesses it comes from the rain. The teacher gives each child a learning journal. So maybe they already have a journal, but for this particular project, this might be the first time for kids, so you're going to give the kids a journal, and the journal says, where does snow come from? Okay? A little journal. So we're going to do the scientific method. We're going to do an experiments about where does snow come from. Okay? The children draw a picture of their answer. So she asked them, where do you think snow comes from? Now draw a little picture. You think it comes from God? Draw a picture of God. Kids love stuff like that. Do you think it comes from the sky? Draw a picture of the sky. But that's my question. It's photocopied on your learning journal. Here you go. Where does snow come from? All right? The teacher, so now we're on step 4, which is designing the experiment. So what kind of experiments is she going to do? Now you've already given some thought to this, right? Okay. And you're guiding them in the process of this. All right? But you're going to ask them to help you because they're not 5th graders who've lost their creative edge. They're little ones. They'll have some ideas. If you ask them, how can we figure out where the snow comes from? They might say, we could ask God. And then you would say back to them, can we really ask God? Is that kind of hard to ask God? What do you think? What else could we maybe do? What could we do for an experiment? The children decide the easiest theory to test, because obviously God theory is a little more challenging, is about the snow coming from the rain. Okay? They decide to take some water from the faucet. This is where the teacher again could guide them, which represents rain, and see if they could turn it into snow. They put some water in the fridge, some in the freezer, and some outside. The teacher asked, how else could we know if the snow comes from the rain? A child suggests snow could maybe turn back into rain. They take a bowl full of snow and they put it in the fridge. See how they're doing the reverse now? Because at first they put the water, right, in the fridge. Now they're going to put the snow in the fridge. And they use a microwave to heat a bowl full of snow.
Ooh.
Okay? They draw a picture, and then teacher pauses and say, okay, we just did 5 different experiments. I want you to draw a picture of one of them. Draw a picture of me putting the snow into the microwave. Draw a picture of us going out into the snow and scooping a bowl full of it and leaving it outside. Draw a picture of putting water outside in the snow. Draw a picture. Analyze the data. The teacher takes the class around to check on each bowl full of snow. They record the results of the experiment on the poster board. So you got your poster board out, right? You're pulling it back out again. They've got their little journals, and you've got your poster board. And when they're done, okay, so now we've got a picture of a bowl full of snow in the fridge.
Right.
I can draw a fridge. I draw a little bowl full of snow. And then we go check on it. Somebody goes, Susie, go look at the fridge. What do you see? She comes back. Teacher, look. It's half melted, but it's really kind of frozen. Look at that, teacher. So I draw a picture, or I take a picture with my camera of the half melted snow. Okay? Probably even better to take a picture with your camera, than trying to draw it. Somebody else. Johnny, go check on the bowl of snow in the microwave. He goes, teacher, look, it turned back into water. It's turned back into rain. Okay? So we go through and we check on each different process. They were not able to turn the water into snow, but the water in the freezer and outside is now frozen. So you're going to talk to them about that. Is snow frozen? Feel this. How is this frozen snow the same as, or this frozen stuff that we've got, is it the same as snow? How are they different? You're talking about that. You're guiding them in that process. They decide as a group the snow comes from the sky and that the rain freezes into snow when it's cold outside. They get there. From just your experiments, from just the conversations you've had, from the questions that you've been asking them. They write the answer on their group poster, and each child draws a picture of rain turning into snow in their journals. Okay? Communicate results. So now the teacher, it should say poster board, not pasteboard. The teacher takes that poster board. We've got our question, right? It's on the poster board, right?
Right.
We've got pictures of the different experiments, the phases of the different experiments that we did, right? We're going to put all that on the poster board. All of it, all right? She adds pictures of different parts of the experiment the children did with snow, and she puts it on an art easel outside of her classroom. Why? Why would you do that? That's right. So when parents come by, they're like, "Oh my gosh, look what you guys have been doing!" And this is our scientific experiment. I mean, I would call these, if I'm in a classroom and I know how much parents want to focus on science and math, I would call these our science experiments. I would call these our science learning journals. And I would sell this to my parents by saying, we're focusing on science in this classroom and the scientific method. Yeah. And your kids are little scientists that do experiments all day long. I don't think there's a parent in America that wouldn't be thrilled with that.
I know I would.
Okay?
I do.
Right, absolutely.
No, I know some that don't. I mean, unfortunately, one parent that I had last year did not buy that at all. She said, that's great, but she still doesn't know all her ABCs. And when my daughter, she was just something else.
Wow.
I'm not being recorded, am I?
Yes, you are.
But I mean, again, we
That's
value what the parents think, but we really try to, but they're some families that are not familiar with the creative curriculum or this do not understand the concept.
That's right.
And the importance of all of that.
And
I told her that's the prerequisites that they're getting before they get to kindergarten. She's having that learning skills, the problem solving, the communication with others.
Well, if you look,
didn't get it.
And I think you will have some parents, and that's a good valid point, that may not get that.
Right.
If you look at learning objectives, which is my next box, learning objectives would actually get filled in after you are finished with all this. But look at what the children have done. They've begun. These are right from the Michigan Early Learning Expectations. Okay, so they show a beginning awareness of scientific knowledge related to the Earth. Learning expectation number 2, they develop positive attitudes and gain knowledge about science through observation and active play. Yes, I mean, especially that documentation in their journals is huge. Early learning expectation, children can translate a problem or activity into a new form, like a picture, diagram, model, symbol, by applying emerging skills and representing, discussing, reading, writing, and listening. So they are just learning so many parts of the writing process, of the scientific process, of problem solving, of creativity. And let me come back to communicate results. It says, she sends home the learning journals and asks the children to talk to their parents about snow. So talk about what you learned about snow. They are encouraged to draw a picture of themselves playing in the snow with their families in their journal. So again, making that connection to home and parent. Yep.
Yeah, that is perfect. My
Okay.
Joshua went outside talking about something. I said, "What you gonna do?" He said, "If I had a magnifying glass." See, no, I'm gonna go get him one. Cause I'm like, I'm curious. Like, what are you gonna do out here with all this snow?
What? How are you going to play with all this?
Right,
snow?
how
What
you
are you
gonna-
gonna, right?
right, how
What are you
you
going to do?
So
Okay.
I'm curious.
So
like,
here's all right. So now here's where this. Now this is the thing, you guys. Can you fill all this out before you do your work with kids?
Not really, not all.
No. So if you look at your PowerPoint where it says share new curriculum material, this is what I want you guys to do, all right? I want you guys to take this template, and it's all available online, okay? And all I want you to do is I want you to think about steps 1 and steps 2, which is finding a question that would be interesting to explore and bringing in materials.
Mine was when.
Finding a question interesting to explore and bringing in material. So you guys are going to, as teachers, today in class, before we leave, come up with a question. Okay? And because this is
Relating to what we're doing?
a question related to the theme that you think you're going to do, to one of the themes that you're going to investigate, okay? We're going to pick one, and we're going to pick a question. We're going to craft one question, and we're going to think about how we could design an experiment around that question, because this is a new process for you. And I want you to allow the kids to give you some input on how the experiment is going to work out, but I know you've got to leave with with a real strong idea of what that experiment is going to look like for you to have success with this process. Okay? Then you guys are going to take this activity, having come up with a question, having come up with materials to work on it with the kids, and you're going to go do this in your classrooms next week. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're actually going to make a little learning journal with the kids. You're actually going to bring in a big poster board to write the question on. You're actually going to be taking pictures of the kids doing their experiment, and then you're going to come back next week, okay, and you're going to share that with me.
And I'm coming over to your house.
And tell me how that went.
Experiment with kids.
Okay. She told me
Okay, hit
yesterday.
pause.
It was
Hit pause.